She's going to announce that she won. Can you imagine that? She announced she won. She comes out and announces that she won. January 7th.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
I wonder why you lost.
Thank you all. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So let me say, and I love you back. And I love you back. So let me say, my heart is full today.
She drunk.
My heart is full today, full of gratitude.
Heart is full, glass is empty.
You have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted.
Yeah.
Not what we fought for. Not what we voted for. But hear me when I say, the light of America's promise
is out.
Will always burn bright. As long as we never give up, and as long as we keep fighting.
That's why she's going to announce she didn't win. She didn't lose. She actually won the election.
To my beloved Doug and our family, I love you so very much. To President Biden and Dr. Biden, thank you for your faith and support. To Governor Walz and the Walz family, I know your service to our nation will continue. And to my extraordinary team, to the volunteers who gave so much of themselves, to the poll workers and the local election officials.
You mean they're not even going to storm the Capitol?
I thank you all. Look, I am so proud of the race we ran.
Come on.
And the way we ran it. Over the 107 days of this campaign, we have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people together from every walk of life and background, united by love of country with enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future. And we did it with the knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it.
I saw that on TikTok.
But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And and loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
January 7th.
The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations.
Great.
Where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do.
Well, that didn't happen.
We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence. And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea.
I'm gonna turn down the studio mics.
That
you can hear them.
every one of us, no matter
they can't even get the audio right,
or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected.
No one's even paying attention to what she's saying.
And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect, by looking in the face of a stranger and seeing a neighbor, by always using our strength to lift people up, to fight for the dignity that all people deserve. The fight for our freedom will take hard work, but like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work.
No.
And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it. To the young people who are watching,
It's over.
it is...
It's over.
I love you.
Yep, it's over.
To the young people
Welcome
who are
to the rest
watching,
of your
it is
life.
okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay.
Uh-huh.
On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win.
But
here's the thing.
here's the thing. What's the thing?
Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win.
On January
That doesn't mean
7th.
we won't win.
On January 7th.
The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before.
Yep.
You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize.
What happens on January 7th?
And to stay engaged.
She becomes the president.
For the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together.
Yeah.
Look, many of you know I started out as a prosecutor, and throughout my career I saw people at some of the worst times in their lives. People who had suffered great harm and great pain, and yet found within themselves the strength and the courage and the resolve to take the stand, to take a stand, to fight for justice, to fight for themselves, to fight for others. So let their courage be our inspiration. Let their determination be our charge.
Okay.
And I'll close with this.
Yeah.
There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light.
This feels like a speech from a Spider-Man game.
Of faith, of truth, and service.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
A Jew.
Did she say a Jew? The fuck?
And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
It wasn't so bad. It could have been way worse.
Let's be honest about this, okay? Let's be absolutely blunt about it. There were appeals to racism in this campaign, and there is racial bias in this country, and there is sexism in this country.
Yeah, that's why people voted for Kamala. Yeah, you're right.
And anybody who thinks that that did not in any way impact on the outcome of this race is wrong.
Can you imagine a woman of color acting like Donald Trump acted, even for one day? The kinds of stuff that he said, the kinds of things that he did, the way that he would insult people. If you're a person of color, you don't feel you have that freedom. You feel like you really are somewhat constrained. You're always running.
We had Herman Cain. Herman Cain would talk mad shit. Yeah, he would talk all kinds of shit on people. Like, what do you mean?
Something in the back of your mind like, how am I going to be perceived? And also, if I say this, will they think that all black people are this way or all women are this way? So there's a license that he had to just be a fool, just to be an obnoxious ass to everyone. And for people to go, well, he can still be president.
Let's be honest about this.
It's crazy how they cannot stop talking about identity politics. They cannot do it. Oh, there's more.
So, how you feel? I'll start. Yeah, go ahead. My takeaway is that the system works. We live in a democracy. People spoke. This is what people wanted. I vehemently disagree with the decision that America...
She's right. She's, you know what? That's fucking based. Absolutely. Yeah.
Americans made, but I feel very, very hopeful that we have a democratic system in this country. We should value it. We should love it. We should protest if the situation arises that we need to protest, which I'm sure it will. And I've been through this before with Nixon. It's been very difficult, but boy, oh boy, do we have a country if we can keep it.
Yeah.
Man, how about that? Hopefully the view ceases to exist. What do you mean? Like, do you know how many people are going to be hate watching them now? This video didn't age well.
Kamala Harris is spanking Donald Trump's ass right now, and we are going to know that she has won the presidency before the night is over on November 5th. Save this, come back to it, I don't care. You want some facts over feelings? Look at the percent of women that are voting compared to men in the...
They can't stop. They cannot stop talking about it.
blue wall states of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. It's double digits. Look at the exit polls in those states.
Trump built another wall and he wasn't even the president.
They are overwhelmingly 20+% saying they voted for Kamala Harris. Look at Georgia and the record turnout. You're seeing people in North Carolina marching to the polls with marching bands. What the hell? Like, that is an insane amount of energy when people are literally leading parades to the polls. You are seeing in North Carolina Mark Robinson trailing his opponent by like 18%. You don't think those people are going to come out and vote for Kamala Harris as
Interview
well?
this guy? Oh,
states
God.
like Florida and Arizona that have abortion on the ballot. And these people are coming out in droves to...
Florida and Arizona. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's about right.
Protect their fundamental rights and bodily autonomy. Look at states like Nebraska, where Donald Trump is only a +5 in Nebraska. Look at Iowa and the bombshell of report from Ann Seltzer coming out that Kamala Harris is leading Iowa by 3 points. So to the fuck your feelings crowd, fuck your feelings, MAGA. You have zero shot in this election. I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you tell me about poly market and foreign money and untraceable Bitcoin flooding that. Look at the facts. One candidate has money. One candidate is completely broke. One candidate has so much enthusiasm. We're going back to 2008 levels and above. Do you know what happened in 2008? Yeah, you got your asses spanked then too. So all of this is leading us to a complete and utter
He only made this so his wife wouldn't
washout
divorce
of
him?
these Republicans.
Is that
Nate
true?
Silver has said there is like a 1 in 9-something billion% chance that all these polls calling this race are actually correct. There is no chance that these polls are as tight as they're showing. It is just complete hogwash. For every legitimate poll out there, there's like 20+ Republican paid polls. Kamala Harris is spanking that ass right now, and we are going to know the results on election night. We don't have all these mail-ins like we had in 2020. You cannot compare 2020 to this. She does not need the type of firewall that she had in that Biden had in 2020, because so many people were voting by mail. That's not the case anymore. That's not the case. So we are going to know these results so much faster. And a lot of these states are on the East Coast. So when these polls close at 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern, we are going to know so much of the results so early, and the victory is going to be so overwhelming that she is going to have it sewn up before the end of the night. So save it, mark it, don't care. Say you're going to come back and find me. I welcome it. Bring it on, MAGA. You are going down.
Well, that didn't happen. Does he have an update? Yeah, I don't know if he's got an update for this or not. Does he have an update video? Yeah, that might be it. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not seeing an update on this. Ooh. Well, now you kind of have to interview. I don't have to interview the guy.
Well, I want to dig further into the demographics, because black women tried to save this country again.
They can't stop. They just can't.
Again, last night, 92% of black women voted for the vice president. You have Latinas in the 70 percentile voting for the vice president. What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men, actually.
They just can't stop talking about identity. It's like a fucking broken record. It is insane. This is insane. It's a disease. It is. I can't even imagine. This is unbelievable.
Voting more for him. And
stop.
You have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Right.
So why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms? And why do you think Latino men voted in favor of someone that's going to deport, says he's going to deport?
What's insane about this? The reason is that people expect that. So there is this implication that if you're Latino, you have some sort of obligation to vote for illegal immigrants or for some sort of immigration policy. But they're not Latino, they're Americans. They're going to have their best interests in mind and the best interest of the country that they live in. It's basically, I mean, like, it's kind of racist, like, oh, well, that's a Mexican, so he should be okay with immigration because where'd he come from? That's basically what they're saying. It's insane. It's so on the nose racist that I'm astonished that this has become the mainstream platform. It's amazing.
The majority of his community.
White women like being called uneducated white women. I think the economy matters, national security matters. But when you put people in these
That's what the polls said.
boxes, I think that's a takeaway from this race.
We have to
She's
look
right.
at the demographics of it.
She's absolutely right. Yep. If you call them stupid, they're not going to vote for you. Imagine that.